how to make friends, how do you go out and buy groceries, or how do you find your way from the station. I was scared about the personal aspects, like fear of missing out is real. If you just manage your time smartly, everything kind of takes care of itself. They force you to kind of be a bit social than you are. Everybody has their own like little take on English, which I found really funny. Then it just makes you feel like, why should I hide my Indian accent? Like whenever you do a course, is not really to teach you everything about the field, but at least it should help you Google stuff later.
Good day, dear friends. I am Vadim, an Erasmus Mundus student, and this is More Than Studying podcast, where international students share their experiences of studying abroad and much more. I hope the stories collected in this podcast are not only helpful, but also inspiring. Remember, what we did, you can also do. Just give it a try. Today, my guest is Yogen. He is a chemical engineer from India, and he is an Erasmus Mundus student at Catholic University of Leuven studying nanobiotechnology. Hi, Yogen. How are you doing?
Hi, Vadim. I'm doing well. How about you?
Thank you. I am also good. I know that you today had a productive day, right? What were you doing?
Yeah, I'm actually working in a lab for the summer. So I'm part of this team called Census, and we are working on building a biosensor specifically. So it's a team from KU Leuven, and they take part every year in this competition whose name is Census. And so I was in the lab today. We are working on that.
So this is something extra for your studying. So it's not included in your studying program, right?
Yeah, it's not included.
Then how did you learn about this project? How did you know about it?
Like I had heard about it from the seniors, but I didn't actually plan on doing it. But then I think in one of our material physics classes, they came, like the PhD students who conduct it, they came to publicize it that the team is recruiting, and I thought I'd give it a try.
I also know that you are here in Belgium only for 1 year. Do you think that participating in a project only for 1 year makes sense in this kind of situation?
So the competition by itself is for the summer, actually. So like teams usually start, I think, somewhere around the start of the second semester. So it's roughly like six-ish months. Less than that, actually, because like we have coursework and we don't actually get to work the entirety of 6 months. But yeah, so it's actually built like a summer competition that you work more in the summer.
So it is possible to achieve some kind of result to get something.
It's hard
in short time.
It is hard, I would say. I would say like for a good project, it takes like 6 months to a year at least, so that you get. But here, because it's a team and you can split it, like it's 10 of us actually. And so we are split into a few, like 3 or 4 teams, and each of us focuses on things. So as a project, I think it's slightly easier to work on.
How did you manage your time? Yeah.
It was actually, I wouldn't say I'm the best person to give this kind of advice about how to manage time, because I don't consider myself really good at it. But I think you just need to devote enough time to everything. Like if you just manage your time smartly, everything kind of takes care of itself. Like there will be deadlines.
What do you mean by saying smartly? I mean,
as in like you should know when to prioritize what. Like we had sometimes, like during the semester, we had deadlines of like our coursework and the census project side by side. So then usually like you kind of prioritize one over the other for some time. Like just break down the deadline into like smaller deadlines and slowly work towards it, especially with like group project and stuff.
When deadlines were quite close, did you sometimes find yourself sitting at 2 a.m. Late at night working on this project because like deadlines are coming?
Yeah, that happens. But I think that's the fun of like I think doing like a master's or like some things where you have to try out. Like that we had the piano project, and
this is like problem solving, our additional course.
Yeah, so like it was like one project, like a course we had, which was basically a semester long project basically. And in that we had to make like a program, and we were not having headway at it for weeks. Then one day at night I suddenly had like some idea, maybe we should change that. And then I ended up staying the whole night. not badly. Like I really enjoyed the process. Like I was up, like I was tweaking things till the
Mhm.
morning, and then it somehow like, oh damn, it's 8 a.m. Need to sleep. But I really loved it because I was getting somewhere with it. It's sometimes it happens that you have to kind of stay up a bit.
Mhm.
But like the masters by itself at KWN is kind of intense.
Yeah, overworking, and especially like if you really like idea, you can, indeed spend all night working on it. But then, like you can also burn out at the end. So have you ever experienced this? And if yes, like how did you cope with this?
Yeah, you do. Sometimes it gets to you truly. Like usually, what I used to do was just like spend some time with my friends. Talk to friends back home, or like just like kind of relax by myself a bit. Like take 2 or 3 days off, and then kind of go back, because you know that the exams are coming, so you have to actually, or even during the semester, if you feel kind of burnt out, the longer game is not to keep at it the whole time. If it's fine if you just take a step back for a while and then go back at it after a while. A good metaphor would be like how like engineers have to change the drill bit after a while. You can't just keep
Mhm.
drilling with something that has worn out. You need to kind of recharge it in a way.
Mhm.
So I would bring, like, put that metaphor here. Like you need to kind of step back and like reanalyze, take some time off, and then go back at it after a while.
Mm-hmm. Also talking about priorities, because like you said that you should prioritize your time wisely. What kind of priority is your health? Because like it seems that you can work on a project all night long, which is unhealthy, right?
It is
So
unhealthy.
it seems that as far as you are young, you don't really care about your health, or
No,
what?
no. I wouldn't recommend. So for me, actually, it's slightly messy. Like I don't end up prioritizing my health. It's not that I don't prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, given like a deadline, I tend to like focus on the deadline more. But like over the semester, I've been trying to devote more time to my health. So like I now like go out for jogs, make sure I'm kind of eating a bit more healthy than what I usually do. Not like go for like late night snacks or something like that. But it's fine. I think it's less than ideal, but it works.
Okay, yeah. As
Yeah.
far as it works, of
Yeah.
course. Also, when you were talking about your census project, to be honest, like I am far from being familiar with bio things, but it sounds like very socially valuable. I mean, that's like that the project is very helpful, or in general, like bio like field seems to give more contribution to, I don't know, health of humans, like to their well-beings. So it seems that people tend to choose now bio tracks because they want to do something valuable for society. Do you think that this is the field where you can quickly make positive changes, or what?
Okay, so I feel there is like two aspects to your question. One is like the time based, like can you quickly make some changes, and whether it is like the now, like it's like the final frontier. I would say I agree with you on the fact that it's kind of like the final frontier. Like the problems, like till now, chemistry has been developing a lot, biology has also developed a lot, but now I think we are finally at a place where we can, apply the precision of chemistry to like biology at a molecular level, or at a like a level of a single molecule. And that is kind of like, so that makes like biology the final frontier in all these kind of problems. And it has like unmatched like complexities. You much more complex fluids like you have, then it's not just water. You will have like multiple interactions, multiple things that can give you, so it kind of makes it a very complex problem to solve, which is actually what kind of attracted me to biology. And also like you can apply a lot of things to it, and it finally kind of has implications on like health or like environment. But for the maybe not, like it may not be fast, like what our experience is with like the census project. There are so many things that you need to consider. Like we are sensing creatinine, but then it's in your blood. So then like can the difference in the levels be actually translated into electrical signal, or like what else can interfere with it? And then often with biological systems, there are other things that look like creatinine but are not creatinine. Then how do you select out just creatinine out of it? Like all those like problems that come up. It might not be fast, but I think it has a very valuable impact on like society in general.
Okay, I think that we talked enough about biology. Let's talk about international experience.
Yeah.
Is it your first international experience, like being here, or no?
Yeah, it is my actually first international experience. I hadn't been out of India before I came here. Around the end of my bachelor's, I was kind of sure that I wanted to do something in the research, not just stop at my bachelor's. So I tried out a bunch of labs and stuff in India. Like I felt like there was so much more we could do, and people were not experiencing it enough. And like from the feedback I used to get from my seniors or like from people who had worked abroad, it seemed like people had a different style of working in like outside India. So I thought I'll try that out.
Were you scared about this international experience or inspired? What were your expectations?
I was scared about the personal aspects of it. Like I was not actually that scared about the academic aspects of it. Like I was kind of sure about, okay, like I would do okay. Like I was pretty sure that I would be around the average student at least. But I was not. I was scared about the personal aspects, like, oh, how do you go out and buy groceries, or how do you find your way from the station? Because like in the US, maybe it's still slightly easier because like the language is the same, but here, like in Europe especially, each country has its own language, and then you might not know the language always. Like I didn't know Dutch before I came here. I would say it's much easier now because we have like the internet and stuff, so you can just like open your Google Lens and like start translating. First week I was very overwhelmed. I remember like almost breaking down in Colruyt. Colruyt is our supermarket here, because like I was so not used to seeing the Dutch names, and there are so many few names in English, and you just like have it on, like have the translation thing on the hold, and you're just like translating every basically aisle. And Colruyt is like what, like a huge supermarket, and it was overwhelming after a point. But then you kind of get into a habit. Also, we had a Dutch course in the first semester. So a lot of people recommended I take it in the first semester, so I just took it, and it actually helped a lot because then you kind of what are the things, or like even when you see street names, you are like, okay, it's like Konijn, Leopoldstraat. So like I know Konijn is king, and then Leopold was their king, and like Straat is street. So you start breaking down things, and then that kind of you don't have to Google everything. that slowly makes you a bit more at home at process. It's easier to deal with than like the first day when I came. And the first day we came, actually it's a very funny thing. Achintya, who's one of our batchmates, he came to this like Leuven station to pick me up, and I was so tired from the flight and everything, and figuring out from Brussels till Leuven. So that moment I saw him, I switched off my brain, and he's like, okay, we have to catch a bus, and we sat in the bus. Turns out the bus actually there are two buses, so one goes towards the city and the one that goes outside the city, and both have the same number. And he didn't check which bus we were sitting at, and we got like some 10-15 kilometers outside the city, and we were stranded at the last stop, and it was still like the afternoon, but I was so exhausted and hungry, and then we finally took an Uber back. But yeah, and because we did not know how to ask, back in India, you can like, you have somebody, you can like, you could just ask like, oh, like I want to go here, like is this work, like does this bus work? Yeah, here like it's kind of more introverted, so people usually don't immediately help you, but over time I have seen that people do help actually. But I was just scared then to like ask people that, oh, like are we taking the right bus, is this in the right direction?
Okay, I see your point, but
Yeah.
like I can also say that this city and probably like the country itself is quite English friendly.
Yeah, that is
So-
actually because like Belgium that way is pretty nice. Like especially Flanders, at least everybody, like all the Dutch speakers usually immediately switch to English if you talk to them in English. The French speakers sometimes don't. So even on Brussels airport, I had this problem where I was asking a guy and he's like, sorry, like he speaks French, so he couldn't. But yeah, the Dutch, like Belgium is much friendly that way. Even Germany, I would say, in a way, like people immediately switch to English if you ask them stuff. France has a France is not really that helpful. Like they would insist you speak in French, but I think some people like still help you, but that's more on like the stochasticity of finding good people than.
And you are also going to France
Yes.
for your second year.
Yeah.
Did you start
Learning French. I started learning French a while back on Duolingo a bit, but yeah, like the semester was very hectic, so I kind of gave up for a while.
You know, there are quite a lot of international programs, especially Erasmus Mundus, like offer a lot of programs in different countries, in different universities.
Yeah.
And you just like said that, yeah, countries are different, universities are
Yeah.
different. So how did you choose your country and university, like for your trajectory?
Okay, so my motivation for the course was that I wanted to do something in nanoscience. Like I had done my bachelor's in chemical engineering, and I was sure I wanted to do something in bio or like nanoscience kind of related on those things. So I was looking for courses with those kind of things, And another thing was, I am not a person who likes to move a lot. So another thing was like there are some Erasmus courses out there who like which are like you move every 6 months, like one semester in one university. So I like naturally just opted out of those. I'm like, I'm not looking for a supermarket every semester. And then I kind of settled on this because like I liked that Leuven was a nice place to live in. I heard at least the KUL had a good ranking. And like the bio and chemistry departments here were pretty good. Then it was a bit of back and forth, talking to alumni, asking them how was their experience with the program as a whole itself.
Okay, you also mentioned that you talked a lot to alumni, and like you also, I know that you have contacts with senior students. So how did you actually get this contact? Because they seem to be quite helpful and useful.
Okay, so that is actually like I didn't do anything to like to work on those. It just like one of my friends had actually, like one of my close friends from Bachelor's, she had applied for it last year. Her name is Nikita. And she got into the program before me. Like I decided to work in a few labs before. So like basically the seniors was like her and her batchmates and whoever, like I got in touch through her. So yeah, in that way I didn't actually have to work towards it. But the Erasmus Mundus, I think community is really good. Like if you reach out to other like scholars and stuff, then they actually respond pretty well. Usually they do. Sometimes it's a bit like if somebody's stuck in something, then they don't reply as fast.
Do you want in your future like to apply for a PhD or go to industry after graduation?
I'm thinking of going for PhD right now. I'm a bit of like on the fence about it. But so far, I'm kind of convinced that I should go for a PhD.
But does it make sense? Because like the more you study, the narrower your field of interest it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, like during your bachelor, you're studying just basics.
Yeah.
Then during master, it's quite natural to like narrow your field of interest. And during PhD, it's even more specific.
Yeah.
So it seems that you are trying to keep this broad range and cover everything instead of focusing on one specific topic.
PhDs being just about one specific field, I don't really agree with that. Like I feel like you are working towards a specific field, but you still need to have knowledge of a wide variety of things. Like suppose you are like doing your PhD in like working with sensors or something, you still need to have like you can't just be about the sensor. You need to have working knowledge about the instrument, and then what is the physics behind that instrument. Then you need to know about like all the chemistry that you are doing. So in that way, I would say keeping my options open. I'm just trying to like have like I haven't found my question yet that I want to answer. So I'm just kind of trying to learn as many interesting things as I can, which I think will be useful later. And then like once I go for a project, then I just apply them there. I like knowing a lot of different things, and then
multidisciplinary approach is a very good thing actually. Because I can't but agree with this, because it just helps you to understand how everything works better. And the more when you face with any problem during any of your projects, and you start to dive deep into a topic that you are not very good at, at least if you had like similar background during your masters, it's much easier to understand what is actually happening there. Like for example, if you have always just did experiments, like hands-on experience, and now you have to do some computational things, simulations, and you never did it before, but like if you took one course on computational science, you can be at least you should know at least words that they use there.
Exactly. Like one of my friends used to tell me always that like the point of a course, like whenever you do a course, is not really to teach you everything about the field, but at least it should help you Google stuff later. Like you should at least know, okay, I did this. So now what do I need to look for, or what resources do I look at?
One more aspect which I also find quite essential, like not only multidisciplinary approach, but also that here during first year, our program coordinators mixed up people with different backgrounds, and that helps you to have friends in different fields, which you can ask for help later. So my next question is about socialization. How are you making?
Nice segue.
How are you making new friends?
Yes, it's actually nice. So I would just start off from what you said, that a lot of courses actually have this thing, and I actually talk to a lot of other master students around. And even their masters, like coordinators, usually insist that you don't make like, group projects with the groups from your own nationality. They force you to kind of be a bit social than you are. But there are also like other things, like there are like other activities that happen, like there are stand-up nights, or there are like, if you're into sports, you go for like there are these sports sessions that you can sign up for and stuff. So then you kind of make friends there. I'm actually not a very good person with like, going up to a social occasion and like introducing myself to random people. I usually do better with like a small set of people and like slowly getting to know them. So I didn't actually aggressively go out and look out for friends, but I just like was observing people and I think this person is pretty fun to hang out with. So then I kind of moved towards like, approaching and making plans with them to, let's go for like a good way to, I think, bond with people is to go sightseeing in like in cities, like because in the first semester a lot of groups were going to make plans with which is also how I met you actually. Like we went to the Antwerp trip. Yeah, I think that's a pretty nice way to start making friends. And because I'd say a trip actually puts you in situations which are more strenuous than regular, like suppose like if you go out for drinks or something. Approach.
What is actually, because like it seems that from our previous talk that you like prioritize things, right, to wisely manage your time. So what is the priority of this kind of social activities for you?
Like I would put like my like me time first. So I usually have a lot of things that I just do by myself. Like I'm into music, so I'm like thinking about music or like composing stuff or like something, or like reading, watching something. I like to crochet a bit, so I do that. So like those kind of things, and cooking. I really love cooking. So those are like my me time activities. So those are like the first priority. Then comes studying. And then like it's like social interactions and like health. So like going out for a run or like, prioritizing all those stuff. So those are like on number 3. So yeah, it's actually like so many times it's like I want to go out with people. There are plans being made and I want to join those, but like I just don't I don't have the, like I'm just so tired from the week that I just want to sit by myself and kind of rejuvenate and like kind of.
Don't you regret sometimes that you do not join this kind of gathering together activities?
Yeah, it's always there is like over the course of the year I realized that fear of missing out is real. Like you get so much of it, but often it's also like you are faced with the dilemma of whether you want to spend time with friends here in Belgium or do you want to catch up with your friends back in India. And I think that is a dilemma that every international student kind of faces. But yeah, sometimes you have to choose like, okay, no, I want to catch up with my friends from India a bit. So then you end up regretting sometimes. Like, okay, maybe I could have gone to like see some new city, but like it's fine. I talked with my friends back in India. So it's a bit of prioritizing whichever, what and when. But it's fine. Like I feel I like there have been times when I pushed myself and like, no, I'll hang out with people. But then I don't like I enjoy that moment, but then I end up regretting it later because like I'm still tired when the new week begins. I like to be a bit like fresh when the new week begins, and then it's like your tiredness kind of spills over into the next week.
That's quite interesting because like I don't know, social interactions, I mean like spending time with friends can be seen as something where you invest energy on one hand, but also you like can also recharge your battery. So like it just like changes with like I don't know, like
it's like I would say it's like 2 levels. Like it's like if I'm really tired, I don't want to hang out with more people because then like I feel more tired. Like I just want to like kind of be myself for a while. So that way I'm kind of like an introvert that I don't like to talk a lot. But then when I'm fully charged up, like yeah, let's go. I'll go and I'll talk to people and I want to get to know people more and stuff like that.
I think it's quite a healthy approach, not to like constantly aiming for getting as much as possible, but to know where the balance is.
Yeah.
Do you think that this international experience helped you to become more mature or like changed in a good or in a bad way or just in in a way, without emphasizing like it's.
It has changed me, definitely, I would say, for the better, as much as I can tell at least. So earlier in bachelor's, I used to be constantly, oh damn, I need to study and, get grades. But now I kind of am at peace even if I don't do really well in a subject. Like, I'm okay that I know that I won't be the best in all the subjects I do, but I just look at a subject and I see what can I take from it. And I think a big part of it was also because I worked for a while after my bachelor's. So, like, in bachelor's, you're like constantly learning stuff and you don't enough have time to apply stuff. And then I worked for a year and then like I was applying the things I learned. So now when I go back to learning, I look at the things that I'm learning with the thing that, okay, if I have to apply this, then what are the things I need to remember from this? I think it's a good place to be in. And being an international student and like, interacting with these different viewpoints, and you see like sometimes people have such different takes on life in general. So it just makes you more open towards people. Like I've also started, placing less importance on how good somebody's English is or how well they communicate, but they can really have good ideas, which is something that you are kind of used to back in India because we are like naturally multilingual. Like a lot of people know a lot of languages, but there is a stress on, oh no, you need to know English really well. But then you come here and then you see like a lot of people don't really like they are able to get their thoughts across, but like they are not, you won't say eloquent or like speaking in real. So then it kind of made me, okay, maybe you don't need to know like that much English. You just like, and a lot of people are fine with it. Like, and you also learn that other than like the main two, like British and American English that is there, everybody has their own like little take on English, which I found really funny. Like the Dutch profs here, they have this very sweet way of like, with their like intonations and their the words that they bring from Dutch. Here you see people with like from Italy or maybe people from Germany are perfectly fine speaking with like a German accent or a Italian accent. Then it just makes you feel like, why should I hide my Indian accent? It's fine, like whatever, like as long as people are able to understand you. That's a really big takeaway from being an international student.
Yeah, I guess that wrapping up this interview, you can now say any important thing that you think was worth saying, to international students who might listen to this podcast or to people who are just thinking about becoming an international student. Any piece of advice or whatever you think important to know.
I think we really covered a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have thought of because like you brought up stuff that was like, so I don't have anything as such apart from like, just try to maintain a balance and see what you can take away from your like international experience. I think that's more or less the key to having a good master's, at least abroad. Thank
you very much for this interview. And I guess that if there are still any questions about studying abroad, then our listeners knows that they can ask them in comments. Also, please share the podcast if you like it, and also support us with your feedback. We appreciate it. Always do your best and live with all your heart. Yogen and Vadim were with you today. Stay tuned to this More Than Studying podcast.